KSI has been on a mission since his return to influencer boxing to end Jake Paul. KSI looked to take some tune-up fights so he could warm up before he had his eventual mega fight with Jake Paul. Jake Paul, however, took a detour from KSI and took on Tommy Fury, where he lost to the pro boxer, ending his unbeaten run. So KSI, instead of fighting Jake Paul, decided to one-up him and go and do what Jake Paul couldn't do and go and beat Tommy Fury. So now the dust is settled on this mega fight, let's take a look into this. This is the Fight franchise and the recap and review of KSI vs Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury would have multiple failed attempts to make the Jake Paul fight happen, where Jake Paul would create some iconic moments, beating and KOing Tyron Woodley instead. This year, however, the stars aligned, where Jake and Tommy went head to head, where Tommy Fury over 8 rounds would win a decision and ended the unbeaten streak of Jake Paul in quite the competitive fight. This led KSI to one-up Jake Paul and to beat Tommy Fury in a fight and say to Jake Paul, "I beat the guy you couldn't," inadvertently making Jake Paul look bad. KSI returned to boxing, making waves, returning with his own promotion Misfits Boxing, which was a place influencer boxing would thrive, where KSI would make his return and compete. KSI was meant to face Alex Wasabi, but he would pull out and KSI would end up facing on short notice Swarms and Pineda, where he finished both and didn't look that good. He would return this time scheduled to face Dylan Dennis, but he would pull out, leaving KSI to face Temper, where he knocked out Temper and put on his best performance ever. He would then face businessman Joe Fournier, who he dominated, but replay showed when he knocked out Fournier it was his forearm that landed. This all led to KSI calling out Tommy Fury, where they squared off in the ring after the Joe Fournier fight. This would set up some negotiations between the two parties, where the fight was made. There was some sticking points in the negotiations, with KSI wanting the lighter weight and Tommy Fury wanting more rounds. They settled for 183 pounds and 6 rounds. Both men had a heated build-up, with KSI saying Tommy Fury wasn't ready for what he had to bring, and Tommy saying he would do to KSI what he should have done to Jake Paul. This fight was a toss-up, but many fans, including myself, thought Tommy would be too big and experienced and would school KSI, while some fans thought KSI had enough power to KO Tommy Fury. The fight was 6 rounds and was quite the bizarre fight, with KSI using his new Michael Venom Page fight style and with a weird outward arm every few seconds, while Tommy Fury, the more traditional boxer, just failed to let his jab go. It was a very awkward fight, which saw both guys clinch after a lot of exchanges, with many fans posting memes of it being a hug fest. The round by round scoring was weird. With little to no action, it was hard to judge who was doing the better work, with Tommy having the more crisp boxing and KSI just coming in with a looping overhand, hoping to catch Tommy and then clinching. What made the fight weird, Tommy in the clinch hit KSI in the back of the head, getting a point deducted, which in a 6-round fight is very detrimental, especially in terms of a decision. The fight was difficult to score, as both guys had moments, but watching the fight live, I did give the score to Tommy Fury. But seeing the online reaction, it seems many people thought KSI won the fight and had the better action, and a lot of famous fighters and famous people thought KSI won the fight. However, these are people who are friends and business partners of KSI, so there is a form of bias on their part. This has caused quite the uproar, with people split on who won. I still stick by the fact Tommy won, but I have yet to rewatch the fight. I think a telling part of the aftermath of the fight is the reaction of the Fury family, who all had a very mixed review and assessment on the fight and Tommy's performance, with his own father and biggest supporter John Fury saying he wouldn't have been outraged if the fight result went to KSI, which is a massive letdown if you are Tommy Fury. He is a pro boxer who should have destroyed KSI if we are being honest. KSI is a strong guy with a lot of heart and he had an awkward style, but let's be real, Vidal Riley, if he was the same weight as KSI, would have put him out. That's what we expect from Tommy Fury, but to be honest, I think we should stop expecting much from Tommy Fury, because truth be told, he is very overrated, which is so harsh. He has spent so long in the influencer boxing scene, he has become an influencer boxer. He is not a professional boxer at the moment, and with the paychecks he is getting from influencer boxing, he probably won't leave anytime soon. It is a real shame for Tommy Fury, as anything but a spectacular performance or a finish is just a loss for him. As for what's next for him, the Jake Paul rematch or the KSI rematch again, he is in a state of limbo with his boxing career. If I was to guess, I reckon there is a Jake Paul rematch waiting for him, with the bag and amount of money Tommy Fury could never refuse. As for KSI, is he a sore loser? I think in the heat of the moment, yes. He has never tasted defeat and has put so much stock and effort into the fact he can't lose. He even made a documentary on it. KSI has a crazy ego and would back himself in a fight against Canelo, because when you take on massive risks, you have to be a bit delusional to think you can win. If not, you would just go in there and lose. All this after the fight, losing his temper. Yes, you are passionate, but a bit more class on the mic would have been nice to see, instead of getting in an argument with Tommy over who landed the better punches, with everyone saying it was a robbery, including KSI, they're wrong. It was a close fight, which Tommy Fury won. I think this fight is a massive reason, if Misfits has learned anything, and if KSI has learned anything, to have 8 to 10 round fights for any major fights. Yes, that's easy for me to say, as I'm not competing, but it eliminates these scenarios happening, as it gives us more of a chance to see who's the better boxer and fighter. But if we are being totally frank, KSI's return to boxing, which has been over 1 year now, has been a bit of a disaster. He has returned with Misfits, which is honestly genius on his part, and I can't say nothing bad on that. The promotion has been brilliant, and some of the shows have been amazing. How he is building influencer boxing and partnering with Prime is unreal. But in the ring, KSI's return to boxing has been lackluster. This isn't entirely his fault, with pullouts from the get-go with Alex Wasabi and then taking on Pineda and Swarms on short notice would have put him off. But seeing what Ed Matthews did to Swarms, why couldn't KSI's win be as impressive? And with the Joe Fournier KO being controversial, takes away from that win as well, even though he was dominating that fight. And now this loss to Tommy Fury, where he didn't handle himself with that much class, it's not been the best return to the ring. As for what's next for KSI, it's simple. Get that win versus Jake Paul. I know deep down he wants to avenge the loss versus Tommy Fury, but if we are being honest, it is being called the worst boxing match of the year. And when you have guys on your undercard putting on some absolute amazing fights, that's what we want from KSI. But it is yet to happen. But if it is going to happen, Jake Paul is the perfect opponent and matchup for KSI to show the world who he is and what he is made of, and cement his legacy in the influencer boxing world. Did you enjoy the video? Let us know down in the comments below. What did you think of KSI versus Tommy Fury, and who did you have winning? Put that down in the comments below. And what do you think is next for KSI? Put your predictions down in the comments below. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe for more MMA and fight and boxing content coming soon. We hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll catch you in the next one.